tea lovers, settle in because we've got a story. I'm Nell.
And I'm Rose. And today we're bringing you the tea.
Across eras.
Hey, it's a brand new week.
It is a brand new week here at Tea Across Eras. Back to your regularly scheduled programming.
I'm sad that it's so hot because it has been gorgeous out and the backyard is ready to rock and we just need people and propane for a barbecue.
It's been so hot.
I don't know, like summer here is not as vacation-y as fall is. Fall is just the very best time to be here.
So unfortunately brief. The balloon fiesta, but the problem is if you're distracted at all by a gigantic, colorful, possibly fun-shaped flying object flying over you, possibly towards you when you're driving, if you find that distracting, don't drive.
Leave it alone.
Because I find everything distracting. It's really a good thing I don't go anywhere during the balloon fiesta or during the mornings, you know. It is really fun though.
I was so mad the internet got knocked out last year. Balloon fiesta, I had to go into the office.
Oh, that would be terrible. I used to work down by Balloon Fiesta Park. The building's still there, but I don't know what it is now. I used to work for a bank. And I mean, it was amazing because I worked this like 6 to 3 or 6 to 2:30, I don't know, shift.
No.
And it was unfortunate that I had to leave the house so early, but we had these passes so we could get through traffic slightly easier. But you know, every floor of the building has like, you know, almost floor to ceiling windows. And one year it just happened that my team's location was against the back windows looking out over the field.
Wow.
I know. Pretty much all of us were like, could you please hold? And like threw our headsets
can't concentrate right now.
And we're pressed up against the window.
That's amazing.
Until the people at the control desk were like, guys, why has everyone had calls on hold for 4 minutes?
Like, have you seen this?
And we're like, come over here. Don't look at that. Come here. So what's going on?
There is sad news. I got a text in the middle of the night from a good friend that really saddened me. We lost a musical legend and someone that has been particularly special to this podcast, but has also just been special to so many people. Definitely since I was like 7 when somebody first put on a record of poisoning pigeons in the park. Sadly, on July 26th, at 97 years old, we lost Tom Lehrer.
Oh, 97.
So, brilliant man, and we do have a tribute episode if you feel like going back a few, and that I think encapsulates a lot, but I have to reiterate how formative his weird, witty lyricism and musical caliber was for me. I remember describing him once to someone who was quite a bit older than me as mid-century modern sarcasm. And he
really good.
He couldn't get over that. But I think that is always how I'll describe him. He was a math genius and music genius and had just the very lucky distinction of getting to choose what he wanted to do, and what he chose was to help people. He wanted to be a math teacher, and he wasn't just a math teacher. He taught the fundamentals of the language that he loved for his entire life, and just hats off, sir.
I bet that I would have learned math really easily from him.
I really wish that I had the opportunity, because when it came to math for this arts major, it was a real uphill road.
Yeah, my problem is I just assume I can wing every single thing in life. I don't ever
Once it
study.
works a few times.
I don't prepare. And honestly, it does work a lot of the times. It doesn't work so well in like math or science classes.
Yeah, no, it's not built for that.
No, I love me those science classes though. So I'm always in there like, dang.
Got to readjust the process.
Yeah. So my kiddo is pretty fluent in ASL. And last month we were out of town and she was talking to someone and they were using or speaking, I'm not sure what the correct term is, ASL.
That's a good question.
And I was left out of the conversation and man, I hated that. So immediately I was like, I need to enroll in classes right away. I haven't done so yet for multiple reasons. One is I just finished my master's program. Quite frankly, I need more than this sweaty summer to recuperate. It's just been real toasty.
The problem with taking classes is there's always something you really could be doing towards it. So it's this kind of low level guilt the whole time. The rest of it's amazing and I highly recommend it, but I understand the needing break time.
I do because I do not want to do homework. And I actually have to go to campus obviously, for language classes. My poor daughter was, in college when COVID happened and all classes went online, and that was just a
For
lot.
an
It was hard for
major?
her.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. But my problem is I've taken language classes before. I had high school Spanish and I've had college German and I've had continuing ed French. Here's my biggest problem. With the exception of the German language class, and that just was an exception to the rule, I just vibe it. I'm like, I have not studied. I have not done a single piece of homework. And I have no idea why I don't understand what everyone else seems to understand by now. Girl, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, no, I had a similar experience because like French came reasonably naturally to the point where I could wing it enough.
I wish y'all could see my face.
Because Latin roots, it's you could predict it with a tiny smattering of the Spanish I grew up around. Didn't grow up in a Spanish speaking household, but like the tiny bits of Spanish that growing up in New Mexico make ubiquitous.
Yeah.
And the little bits that I remembered from high school.
Right. The stuff you remember from high school is usually cállate, por favor.
Right. Well, no, and I had done French in high school.
Oh.
And so I had enough to kind of wing it, but I mostly just skated on good graces when it came to like the speaking portions. Like I can mimic an accent like that's fine, but grammar, no.
Yeah, I don't mind going all out with the accents. I'm like, you pronounce it this way, then I shall pronounce it that way. If that's what you're saying. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, minor bird repetition, got you.
Yeah, I'm like, I just want it to be respectful, of course.
But then when I got to Latin itself, which was the thing that helped me in other Latinate languages, it didn't act the same way as the rest of those languages because it's not those languages, and it refused to be the same type of grammatic rules, and I kept just like bumping my head against that wall instead of learning.
Speaking of school, I don't know how much you've kept up with the 4 college students who were killed in Idaho by the
you sent me that,
alleged incel dude.
Mm-hmm.
So he took a plea deal and pled guilty, and I believe he got 4 consecutive life sentences, plus a fine of a couple $100,000. So one of the victims, Kaylee, her older sister, Olivia, her victim impact statement was like nothing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It wasn't like full of rage. If you haven't looked it up, please go look it up if that's something you can handle.
It was intense.
It was very intense, but it was very spot on. And then a whole bunch of documents, have just been released. And again, he's never given a motive. And as soon as I woke up this morning, I had to listen to Annie Elise's take on everything because I like the way she breaks it down.
Well,
so with that, sorry.
No worries.
What are we going to talk about?
I'm going to pivot into our topic for today by asking you a question.
Oh, okay.
What is the most creatively destructive thing one of your dogs has ever done? Like just to where you looked at them and went, I'm sorry, who raised you?
I mean, one time when Paul was a puppy, she unrolled a whole thing of toilet paper and she was like, it was still attached. And she was like running around the house with all this crazy toilet paper hanging on after her.
Oh, still flapping behind her.
Yes.
She just thought she found the best boa ever.
I know. It was so amazing. It was her best day ever.
My cat, Chio, rest her smutty soul. She had a thing against books, but really she had a thing against you not paying attention to her. And I had a textbook open on the floor once, and she walked over, sat down on the open book, got all comfy, hooked her paws around the edge, and yanked up, pulled out about a half a chapter.
Dang, Chio.
Chio, I mean, that's creative. I can't even, I'm mad, but
Right, what are you
can be
doing?
impressed. So the reason I bring this up is there was this post that was going around last couple of weeks of a medieval manuscript that a cat had peed on. So I'm going to pull this up for you. This is a manuscript from Devonter from about 1420. And as you can see, there's a blank page here and some sort of angry pointing fingers. We'll post a picture of this on the website for you. If you'd like to Google it instead, this is from openculture.com. The article is Medieval Cats Behaving Badly.
Oh my goodness.
So in the margin, in Latin, it says, here is nothing missing, but a cat urinated on this during a certain night. Cursed be the pesky cat that urinated over this book during the night in Devonter. And beware well not to leave open books at night where cats can come.
Oh my gosh.
Angry pointing fingers and like a circle drawn around it with a jackass drawn in the middle of the P spot.
If I've already handwritten that much, y'all be getting that page too.
And that's the point. Like, you have to, if something has damaged your book, you have to address it sometimes.
Right.
Or at least explain it to your patron.
Right.
And if you've spent the last 10 years of your life handwriting this book and maybe half a herd of cattle,
no.
you're just going to curse the cat and let everybody else have a laugh.
Right?
So medievalism has a weird relationship with cats.
Okay.
And what I found interesting when I was looking stuff up for this was that articles about medievalism and cats really just kind of separate into two categories.
Okay.
Cats were working animals and sometimes pet, and then cats are considered evil. They had a terrible time in the Middle Ages. Really, it's a good thing the species survived. And it's like there's no in between.
That's so funny.
So medieval people either loved or hated cats, depending on who you're talking to.
Right, because your cat would be kept around for mice.
Every single culture has opinions on them.
Oh, yeah.
The three abiding points of cathood is that they are willfully destructive, they are cuddly and lovely, and you can't predict which one you're ever going to get.
Truth.
Scribes have had really close relationships with cats, particularly because, like you were saying, they're working animals. That's why they're kind of in a weird liminal space between livestock and companion. They have kind of like an in-between spot because they are a working girl.
Yeah.
They're primarily there to help keep vermin down, and that's really important for scriptorums because mice love all of the organic material that manuscripts are made out of.
Ooh, yeah.
Like there's a copy of Boethius's Consolation of Philosophy that has just been eaten almost into like an oval. Every single piece is just, mouse bitten. And you see it a lot. You really do have to have vermin control in libraries today.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I mean, they basically just made big books of beef jerky. And how's a mouse supposed to avoid that?
I know, right?
So cats are the constant companion, but what's also interesting is in illuminations where cats show up, they're very often going to be in feast scenes and domestic scenes where they're a really natural part of the scenery.
Yeah.
Like they don't stand out too much. Now, whether or not they actually look like a cat or a human masquerading as a cat, that's a whole separate issue that we will revisit at a later time. But if you just look up why are medieval cats weird? If you just Google that phrase, you will have a lovely couple of hours ahead of you because they're weird. Fully half of that is because a lot of times when you see cats, it isn't in an illumination that was really planned. It's in marginalia.
Yeah.
And marginalia is the sketches and sort of off the cuff illustrations that show up in medieval manuscripts. And some of them are just wild and amazing and bizarre.
It's like me doodling in my notebook.
Yeah. There's a piece of marginalia here in a book of hours from 1320. Now, that's a cat defending his castle against rats.
I see.
And you can just imagine the scribe that's in a really particularly infested building and nobody's gotten enough cats and he's upset about it and he still has to do this work. And he kind of just wanders off for 5 or 10 minutes with his pen on the side of the page, and thus a really interesting illustration was born.
I love that.
Sometimes you also get aggressive snails with swords, which I have yet to have had satisfactorily explained to me.
Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, aggressive sword-wielding snails.
Okay.
Sorry, he doesn't have a sword here. He's just sort of stabbing someone with his antenna.
Wow.
It's really popular.
I love that.
I bet at least part of it is because they're fun to draw, but they're always really aggressive.
And they're all like big in comparison to the humans. Had they like just learned about those giant African snails or whatever they're called?
Bestiaries in general, any of the animals that people wouldn't have encountered in their home environments.
Yeah.
jump off into such strange worlds. Like medieval elephant illustrations are some of the funniest things ever.
Well, that snail looks like a mollusk.
I know. But yeah, I mean, maybe somebody's brother-in-law went on an ocean voyage and happened to see a giant sea snail and then told everybody, and then 5 generations later, did you hear the legend of the giant sea snail?
Right, right.
That's how
They
it
would look
goes.
at their snails that they're accustomed to and be like, man.
The bestiary entries in general are just always interesting in terms of their descriptions. There's always an allegory to like panthers are particularly holy
Oh,
in some form. Like it's very Christian based because you always think of the patron. Like we talk about in the book episode, the people that are paying for quite nice manuscripts, especially the farther back you go, it's just quite often a religious entity.
I'm imagining some rich person paying for someone who's a writer, but I'm imagining their character to be like Leonardo da Vinci in Ever After. And they're like, hang on, pick some words. I'm going to say animal names, and you say the first, like, Christianity word that comes to mind. Ready? Owl.
Dartboard, spiritual like wind, moves through the night with the light of Christ. Yes.
The wind. You can't see the wind, but you know it's there.
The wind is quite often hot, which means that it has come from the mouth of hell, and thus you should seek a cool breeze, like unto the hill.
And in Job, there was, the Lord spoke from the whirlwind.
It's wild how some things that are so old translate into our modern consciousness, especially when it comes to superstitions. And this is not a superstition that I knew about, actually, but apparently in today, 2025, if you are moving and you would like your cat to not go home to the old house when you let her out, if you let your cat out to roam on their own, if you don't want them to go back to the old house, you rub butter on their feet. And I'd never heard of this before, but it's rooted in a medieval tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was reading about that, they made reference to, and people still believe that today.
I've never met a cat who I think would let anyone rub butter on their feet.
To be honest, every cat I've ever owned would have licked butter off their feet after you've done that. I think
definitely.
I don't know if they'd have sat still for it in the first place.
That.
Yeah, I kept coming on cat marginalia that was cats churning butter. And I was like, why are cats associated with butter? I kept reading heavy association in the Middle Ages with cats and butter. I'm like, well, they like dairy. I mean, the cat stealing the butter is probably not unusual. But no, apparently the belief that rubbing a cat's paws and nose with butter will prevent it from leaving a new home. It's a 15th century superstition that was noted in the Distaff Gospels.
Interesting.
And still has believers today. Today I learned.
Wow, I did not know that one.
I would like to say I'm not advocating rubbing butter on your cats. I don't think they'll appreciate it.
No.
But it's so interesting how things stay. Because the black cat
is
thing,
interesting. Black cats.
Pretty old, many cultures have prohibitions or just general ickiness about black cats.
Cats get a bad rap because they're freaking cats.
But they're cats. They're not interested in your
motivations. If they were the size of a tiger, we would all be dead.
Exactly. You can see them contemplating what you would taste like sometimes, and it's just part of owning a cat.
Right? And maybe they don't even want to taste you. Maybe they just want to lick you, but they didn't know they weren't supposed to jump on your head. I don't know.
I don't think that they ever forget that they're part wild, and we never
100%.
Stop being a little bit unsettled by that.
Of course.
Even when you love them and cuddle them, and I had a cat that wouldn't sleep unless I spooned her, and I was okay with that.
Right? My dogs are so domesticated.
Mm-hmm.
Cats, not so much. Do we have any fairy tale type stories from the Middle Ages with cats?
I'm sure that there are many. The one that comes to mind is about Duke William IX. And I can't remember if this was one of his compositions or whether it was something written about him. So for background, Duke William IX was Eleanor of Aquitaine's grandfather.
Okay.
He was a very famous creator of music, a famous, lusty medieval man that he epitomized what masculinity was supposed to be in the 11th century.
All I thought about was body odor.
Right. If somebody's riding a horse all day being a nightly knight, he's probably awful smelling.
And a lusty of Malhoot.
Yeah. Lusty musty. This is a little before the courts of love, but definitely where we get a lot of our impressions of what we think chivalry should be.
Okay.
So there's a story of him sneaking to a convent and claims to be mute. He's gesturing. He manages to explain they have nothing to fear from him. He's just a weary traveler. Could he please stay the night there? Give them no trouble. And they're suspicious. They don't believe him as far as they can throw him. I don't remember all of the story, which is a tragedy. But at some point, they throw a cat at him.
Perf.
And he manages to pry it off. And, the cat, throw a cat at somebody, they're going to stick. He manages to pry it off without making a sound, and that's how he proves that he's immune.
I don't know anyone who would not screech.
With a cat raking down their back.
Right? Come on.
There's so many more manuscript mess ups too. What was really funny is some of them you can see perfect paw prints on a page because everybody that has a cat or has had a cat has been trying to read a book and had them jump on you.
Yep.
Because they want to see what you're focused on.
Right.
Yeah. So the ones where the paw prints are perfectly clear and crisp, you can tell someone gave up and went, all right, or weren't home. But the ones where you can see one crisp paw print and then a skitter, where somebody was clearly shoving them off of the book. Like, I have spent a decade on that. Will you stop?
Right. I mean, and I'm sure somebody got their ink bottle knocked over. Somebody's word was smudged by paw prints.
Exactly. There are ink paw prints. There are knock marks in the writing that is then like marginalia explained, like, dratus catus.
I like the association also of cats with like witchy women because cats are just like, I can't be tamed. Do what I do. And then that's, those women get that witchy rap. And
cats and books have gone together forever, and they are right in line with that witchy vibe.
Kind of wild that I'm a dog woman.
You're a cat woman at heart. You just have very cat-like dogs.
Well,
no, I know.
My old roommate said whatever this dog's past life was like before he came to me, she definitely lived with cats. And I think that's true. She really loved to mother her cats. Her cats didn't love it, but she did.
Oh, my sister-in-law's dog grew up around our cats.
Oh, yeah.
They were not into it. And she tried so hard to impress them that, she was not built for catitude, but darned if she didn't try and wobble her way from one arm of a chair to the back of the couch to try and waffly bat at somebody's ponytail. Like, you could tell she wanted to so badly, but she didn't have talent.
Yeah, Kenny does that. I'm all, you can't run there.
I just have
it's a balance beam.
In 2018, the British Library did an exhibition called Cats on the Page that has a little bit more detail about the association of cats and scribes and books in general, and kind of the funnier side. There were a couple of cute quotes from their descriptor page. In Isidore's Etymologies, he wrote that cats were called mousers because they are troublesome to mice, or cats because they are good at catching things. I don't know if that's the official etymology, but that's Isidore's opinion.
That's fun to remember, though.
Cats are beloved, but they were also employees. Mice are just part of the medieval landscape, and having a good mouser is proactively protecting your books.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a 9th century poem about a cat called Pangerban, which is just a lovely, lovely name. I like that the tradition of naming our cats silly things is something that we've all gotten organically, apparently.
Yes.
He wrote, I and Pangerban, my cat, 'tis like task we are at. Hunting mice is his delight. Hunting words, I sit all night.
Wow.
Also from the 2018 British Library exhibition, quote, aside from their book-endangering eating habits, mice could be an annoying distraction, as an illustration by the 12th century scribe Hildebert illustrates. The illustration, which we will also put on the website, shows how a mouse has climbed up onto Hildebert's table and is eating his cheese. Hildebert lifts a stone in an apparent attempt to kill the mouse. In the book he was writing, we find a curse directed at the cheese-nibbling beast. Pessime mus, sepius me provocus ad iram. Most wretched mouse, you often provoke me to anger. May God destroy you.
Oh my gosh, that would be so annoying. I mean, some people like mice, not I. But just running up onto your table while you're working and eating your snack.
And that's a full illustration. That's just what was happening to him as a scribe, and he was one of the few people in a position to really artfully enshrine that in history.
It's also a weird cat.
Well, yeah.
Its face looks like a horror movie monkey.
Yeah, no, that's that bestiary illustration again. And It's a little bit like how anime faces are meant to be based on cats, not people, and that
Mm-hmm.
gets missed a lot. And it's like, yeah, no, nobody's face actually
That's
does
based
that.
on a person.
That's based on a person, not a cat. They're trying to make them expressive by giving them expression, which often translates to human.
And like a full nose.
I know. It's weird. Called Liber Naturarum, has a great deal to say about the cat. So this is from a website called bestiary.com. I love it. It has an aggregation of a bunch of different bestiaries.
Oh, neat.
It has the references so you can go check it out yourself. But if you want to just kind of see the smattering all together, it's a really fantastic website. But so according to bestiary.com, the author has a great deal to say about the cat. Its sight is so keen that it can see mice in the darkest cave with its quote-unquote carbuncle eyes. Side note, according to bestiaries, carbuncles are rubies, but also contain flame.
Oh.
Short and sweet. It's a dirty and hateful animal, according to other bestiaries. It fights with buffones, some sort of poisonous insect or reptile, but it must drink water after the battle to avoid drying up.
Oh.
They love warm places, but burn their skin by being too lazy to move. And I'm not sure I know many cats that would allow a good singeing on purpose, but
Me
I think
neither.
any of us that have spent time around a fireplace has stood with their back too close to it.
Oh, yeah. You get the tight buns.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and this was interesting. According to a neat article from Bangor University, Cats in the Middle Ages, What Manuscripts Teach Us About Our Ancestors.
No.
Quote, cats could be companion animals as well. One guidebook on appropriate behavior and conduct for anchoresses, female hermits, we've talked about them before, famously advises that while anchoresses were forbidden most luxuries, she was allowed a pet cat. So cats as companion animals, we kind of don't tend to think of them as much in the Middle Ages as companions. I think a lot because of plague stories. I think when you think about
Yeah.
cats in the Middle Ages, you go, oh, poor things, they got blamed for the plague and everybody killed all the cats in the neighborhood. That was true to a point, but if you wanted to have clean food sources and vermin-free areas, having a cat was still the best way for most people to go. So
Yeah.
yes, there was starvation. People were eating their pets. Yes, some people at certain points blamed cats for it. But at the end of the day, cats were much more part of the home.
I mean, it makes sense when you start thinking about it. Like so many things.
When we were talking about squirrels many episodes back and how it was acceptable for a highborn lady to have a squirrel for a pet.
Yes.
Also acceptable for a highborn lady to have a cat. There's a lot of references for it. 14th century Queen of France, Isabeau of Bavaria, spent an excessive amount of money on accessories for her pets. In 1387, she commissioned a collar embroidered with pearls and fastened by a gold buckle for her squirrel. In 1406, a bright green cloth was bought to make a special cover for her cat, which I just hope means a kitty opera cape. Can I just say?
See, I'm not hating on her because I
You have the
always,
deep-seated natural instinct to buy animal clothing.
Oh yeah, all my dogs would wear way more jewelry
Me
than I
too, by
do.
the way.
Way more. Because you see how much jewelry I wear.
I was really more of a put the cats in a collar and tie kind of, or like those little pirate outfits that make them look like they're walking. None of them were anything that they enjoyed for more than 30 seconds, so I got broken to that. But I'm more of, yeah, I understand the pet outfit buying a little more than I'd like.
There's a lady on Instagram, and I can't remember her name, but she's so funny. It's like videos of the cat she didn't want, and she dresses the cat up, and she's always like telling her what a good, modest girl she is. It's so funny. I love it.
Our love of cats is ancient and strong, and I do not see it changing anytime soon.
Oh no.
But thank you so much for listening to my wild, meandering story that started with cat pee and ended with fuzzy love.
Aww.
We always pamper the little creatures in our lives.
If I had generational wealth, like some of my dogs are older, they're all seniors, let's be real. The oldest one is like 15-ish. And, you know, if I had that generational wealth, when their teeth were coming out, you know, get them removed because they're old, I'd just obviously have them replaced with like a really nice grill or something.
If you ever actually have the unicorn money to do that, promise me that at least one of them will just get a nice set of dentures so they can smile like every creepy dog commercial that's ever happened like that.
I just feel like it might hinder their eating.
Oh, you're right. All right, give me a Photoshop picture of your dog smiling with dentures. Stat.
Okay, I'll do that.
You guys have a wonderful week. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us.
Bye, y'all.